Kohalam La, Kohalam La, Wakabar, Wahadar, Yahweh Bashmi Al Shai. All honor, praise, and glory be to Yahweh Bashmi Al Shai. Waha, Wachachodash. So this is a quick dream. And in the dream, it was pretty much, man, it was Jacob's trouble. It was like Jacob's trouble at tip off. Like a game you've been waiting to come on. It's the tip off is like, but they had that type of energy. But I'm talking like a big game. It was like, this had to be like the the tip off to Jacob's trouble at its pinnacle. Because I would think, obviously, time's bad now. It's been said we in Jacob's trouble now. We've been saying it. I said it, which we really are, but it's not at the pinnacle. So this was like the dang pre-tip off to it, man. Like when you watch the NBA games, and they got the counter going. They got the counter on. Like how many minutes left? It was like that. But in the dream, pretty much what happened. And it's serious because I don't think I really had. Nah, I can't say that. It's just serious. Cause I was saying I think something's gonna happen pretty soon. So we getting closer. But anyway, in a dream, I was in a Walmart. Okay, me and my woman was in. Me and my woman was in a Walmart, and man, it was packed. It was like we was like at a Walmart, and but yeah, Salakia. Um, so we at the Walmart, and it's like completely packed. I don't know why I'm at a Walmart or in a Walmart because I don't even go in Walmart, but really at all anymore. But so as I'm there, it's like real. It's like normal, but it was nighttime. It was like a little more packed and hectic than usual. So when I get into the Walmart, man, it's packed. It's completely packed, and just jumping straight to the point. We end up splitting up somehow. Um, Matter of fact, I remember now. I was getting something. I had like some dang Kool-Aid. The ones that be in like the little plastic that you can squeeze the bottle, the little juicers, the little Kool-Aid jammers, not like ones in aluminum foil, ones that be in a little bottle, like the little plastic ones. I had some of those. Got to the register, didn't want them. It's like we was in there just like buying time or something. And they ended up letting us come right to the front, I believe, because it was a packed line. We went right to the front. And they was like, you gonna pay for it? And and we was just stalling. I'm acting like I'm gonna get them, not gonna get them. And they was just being real patient for some reason. They weren't tripping or nothing. There was people everywhere too. But I was like, nah, I ain't gonna get them. And you would think, because I knew the whole time I wasn't gonna get them, but you would think they're the wild, like, why you ain't? And, Walmart ran by, Jake, Israel. So, the worst of Israel, like, your real average possible 2/3 everyday nigga. And especially the women, loudmouth, so-called black women. But anyway, so they, Latino woman, whatever, Native woman. But they ain't say nothing. And fast forward, it's Jake's everywhere. They got the lines packed. I'm talking about we end up moving around And it was just weird. It was different because with me pretty much doing all that, you would think I would have got cussed out for what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? But everybody everybody around us, we end up getting because we end up getting back together at that point, but we end up going back towards the back like we was going to, I act like I was going against something else. And that's pretty much how we got out of it. But they ain't got out of it, but they didn't say anything. So as we doing that, something else happened. And somehow I just ended up noticing it was more, man, with so many Israelites in there. They sleep down though. I'm talking about Jake, like, man, with so many so-called so-called black people in there, man. I'm talking about like they like Jake, like your average Jake, like and it's like, what are y'all doing here? And you could tell something happened, like ones either lost like all the jobs, let Jake go or something. And it was like your middle aged, older Jakes, you know, old couples, just mean Grinch faced Jakes everywhere. And I'm talking about out of all ages. It was so many Jakes, the lines was going like they was doing whatever they was getting, whatever it was so many Jakes in there, man. The lines was going from the register all the way back to like, cause most Walmart set up the same, like the clothes area, but like towards that's a pretty deep area, man. The lines went all the way back as far as like towards the end of it. Like I'm talking about deep in the middle. Like that's how far back the lines was, and all the lines was packed, and there was people around everywhere that weren't in line. That weren't in line. So it came off across me in my head, my spirit. Like, man, this gotta be. I'm like, this gotta be the end. I'm like, this something has happened, and they know it's the end. So it's like they was in here. They in here trying to hide out, or they in here like they had like that reparation spirit on them. It's like something was owed to them, but they catching major hell right now, and they trying to hide. So you know that time's here, and it was like it was the appointed time. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt like. I felt like that appointed time, man. Like the year the Lord's redeemed come, but it was Jacob's trouble. So fast forward, I don't know if I ended up being in another Walmart. I think I went to another Walmart, and that's spiritual because those Walmarts is they supposed to be interlinked. Um, they rumored to be pretty much, detention centers. Okay, and I think I either went to another. We went to another one. I think that's what happened. And as we going through the front, I think that's what happened. Like it was like a dang. It was like a monopoly of Walmarts. So we was able to leave out that one and go in. Yeah, because we left out, and it was packed outside. It was nighttime. Nigga, woman everywhere. Went around, went to the other one and the other lot. There was a whole right one, another big one right next to it. So we ended up going through that one for some reason. And pretty much we ended up going through the front. And this is how I knew it was the end. This Jake came in. This dude was like, he started yelling this song because it was crowds of Israelites everywhere. I'm talking about like they was waiting in line, like flooded. They was just posting up in Walmart. It was crazy. But he ended up coming in and it was all the ages. You know what I'm saying? Like from your so-called parents' age, no matter what age you may be, to like young, loud niggas. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. And when he came in, he started yelling some song, like some lyrics, Like that type. It was like that type of energy going on, and it was so many Jakes in there, and so many of his type in there because it was so many Jakes, you know, to where that was possible. He was like, he yelled the lyrics and they started rapping them back with him. It was crazy. I'm like, yeah, this the end. I'm like, this guy, we got to be getting close to the end. He was, and then it was like, you know, it, and we ended up getting the hell out of there, man. And we ended up walking towards, and wasn't the fact that caught up, jammed up, and none of that. So we ended up, which I pretty much relate that to the Lord pretty much having mercy and how it's going to be. But jump to a real important part. So we leaving, we walking out, and it's some Ishmaelites, like cause it's packed outside. It's like people just walking everywhere for some reason, but they got like a sense of like about to lose it. You know, me hurry up, like sense of panic about to lose it type urgency, like a slight urgency on them, because it wasn't like people was running everywhere and nah, you could just like it was a spirit in the air of that. And if these people had it on them, you could just tell. But they was walking this Ishmaelite and his Ishmaelite wife, his woman, and he was like, I was like, look at them. I was like, look at them. I think I said something like that, you know, in a dream. And we looked, and they said something back, and I was like, yeah, look at them. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, no, I think I told him, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was telling him, like, yeah, it's the end. You know, everybody was looking real nervous. Like, Jake wasn't looking like that. Because they, you know, Jake just, they're going to be oblivious till they get hit by the nukes. Like, these niggas is souped up, animated animals to make the perfect movie for the Lord. Like, these Jakes they have closed their eyes. But these Ishmaelites, they wasn't in that spirit. They was in that, like, looking around like they was fine, like, uh, they had to admit something, finally face up to something. And those Jakes kind of had that on them too, but they wasn't. They so damn cursed, you know, man. But I ended up walking out to them because I'm like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, he, and I'm like, I was like, Allah. I was like, yeah, Allah. I was like, yeah, Allah. Most High. He was like, no. He's like, no. I was like, because you know they know about the end coming. They worship, you know, Allah and all this other madness. So I was like, yeah, Allah. And, you know, Allah, that's Hebrew. Yeah, the Lord is Allah. He's God. He's Allah Shadia, you know, God Almighty. And so as I'm saying that to them, and they was like, man, I was like putting it in their face. I'm like, yeah. But they was like, no, it was like, he's like, no, no, no. He's like, no, I know. I was like, you know, and I said that, but then I was like, yeah, you. He's like, yeah, I know who we are. I was like, you know, don't you? He's like, yeah. He's like, I know. I was like, yeah, Allah. He's like, no. He's like, yeah, how about show me how shy? I was like, like, how you know that? But then he was like, yeah. He's like, no. He's like, no, Allah. He's like, Yahweh. He's like, no, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And I was like, yo, you know we the people. I was like, and my mom was like, yeah, they know. You look at them like, yeah, they know. And he was like, I was like, so you saying we the people? You said we the people, huh? And he was like, no. He's like, no, I know about you. I was like, no, I know you. He was like, I know you basically confront me on the Allah thing. He's like, I know you don't. I'm like, he's like, I know you. He's like, I know you ain't. You know that ain't it. I know you ain't. You don't think that's it. You know, you Yahweh boss me outside. And he was like, I was like, that's kind of how he responded. So I was like, oh, so you know, I was like, yeah, you know. He was like, you really know. It's like, you know, basically trying to get him to go ahead and say it. And he was like, nah. He was like, slow mo, like Jewish, something like that. Say that's what we say. And I was like, what they say? We the people. And he was like, nah, they don't. He's like, nah, they don't think y'all the people or something. Like he's just like, no, I don't think y'all. He's like, they don't think y'all the people. He's like, I don't like them. He was like, I don't like them, or something like that. But he literally, the Lord had him say, Yahweh Bash me outside in that dream. And that's another thing that confirmed the Lord's name, man. When he said that, I was like, yo, this truth way out here. But fast forward. So this will end up happening. So I'm like antagonizing him. And this dude, like, once again, he had his end. He had that. He ready to bug out. It's a spirit in there. They like this it. They've been trying to avoid it, act like it ain't been the case, and that's how it was coming off. But see, with that being the case with these people, this dude, he was strapped with these heathens. He was strapped. I'm talking about he had like a whole like Call of Duty. He reminded me of somebody off that movie Samuel when he was with Samuel Jackson when he was the crazy neighbor or something like that. He had that type spirit on him, and he had like this like light blue button up with these like tan slacks. His woman said something. Oh, and thank you. This is Duarte Harbrush. This is exactly what happened. So, Fred, this how it like basically it went down. So as he said that, his wife came out of nowhere because we like laughing. Me and my woman, we laughing. I'm looking at her. We looking at him, and then his woman, she come out of nowhere and start talking. Cause my woman, she ain't say nothing. Not out loud. So, cause that's, well, really, in this instance, it's out of order, but more so in that instance, cause his woman went out of her way to tell me something like, wrapped up Muslim, hijab type Ishmael. You know what I'm saying? But they Americanized y'all. So I tell him about that, like his woman talking. I'm like, man, what you doing? I was like, yo, you off. He's like, yeah, I know the truth. You trying to say you don't think we the people, but you know we the people. And you talking about some what Jewish man talking about was him saying that's who we are, that's what we say, but they don't believe. And you say you don't like them. So I'm like coming to him like in that energy, like what are you? Come on, man. And I'm like, you sitting here letting your woman talk. I'm like, this off. I'm like, man, that's not her, I think I said hadith or something like that. It's like, man, it's not hadith. He was like, man, what are you doing? And he was just cut. Like, he was just mad. And the whole time, he had this all on his waist, but I didn't care. And another thing, I think he had a kufi on his head. Something like, yeah, he had a kufi on his head too, but because I knew he was Ishmael. But he ended up getting cut by that. They walked ahead of us and pretty much, antagonizing because we at the end. The Lord basically said, family destruction, we gonna laugh and all this other stuff. So what ended up happening was, remember, this like the brink of Jacob's trouble. This was like the tip off that spirit. So what ended up happening was he ended up getting pissed and he ended up upping on us. Like pulling out he had a big rifle. I mean, a big AR, like assault rifle. On his waist, he had like a taser. He had like the red blowhorn on his waist. He had the zip ties to like lock people's hands, but they was like the plastic ones. This dude was like, so it was crazy. It was it was pretty crazy. But what ended up happening was, fast forward, the police ended up coming, and because I said something to him, he got pissed. His woman, she was, they was completely like they was moved, they was mad, they was upset, they completely was out of character. They couldn't hold on no more. So what ended up happening was he was about to try to like do something. So when the police pulled up, they like seen him, and we was caught in a mix. And then, it was police everywhere. Like, we walked up to the part where I think we either got to the police or they like, it might have been that. And by the time that happened, they end up swarming him. But there's other police in the area that's like caught off guard by the swarming of the cops that noticed him with all this stuff on him. So they end up attacking. And it was a so-called black woman. It was a nigga woman. She had her vest on, her pants on. She had a big AR with a scope on it. And we ended up getting in the car, this little truck, and she ended up putting it on us. Man, it was like, man, it ain't us. It was like, it's them. But and it was all these was all cracker cops that attacked him. But the so-called nigga woman, she the only one that ain't know what's going on. In the midst of all of that, first of all, out of order, and she put the scope on us, and she was about to like take us out because she thought we had like, you know, he was like an enemy of the state, and an enemy of the state type situation with all that he had on him. And she came at us with that energy, but they was like, nah, it was like it's him, and they went and got him. And when he was getting ready, and I think last minute he was getting ready to shoot at us, and the Lord had the cops. That's when the Lord had the cops jump on, like jump on him immediately, and I'm talking. And then so that took us off. But at the moment of that happened, the damn Eve, she fucking. It's like my language. She got the dang gun pointed on us with a scope on it. I'm like, man, it's dumb. I got my hand like, man, it's dumb. And they was like, man, it's her. And she was about to shoot last minute. And the Lord, he had all that control. We ended up getting out of there, you know. And I think we ended up running. And it was crazy, man. And then basically somehow, I think it was either because we ended up getting into a car accident or hitting somebody, but we survived. Man, it was crazy, but I want to read these scriptures. This is Jeremiah 30:7. You know what I'm saying? It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Exactly. In the NLT, in all history, there has never been such a time of terror. It will be a time of trouble for my people, Israel. Yet, in the end, they will be saved. And that's literally what that reminded me of, man. You know, it had Jacob's troubles. This is it vibes here, energy here, frequencies on it. It's like spirits on it. It's like, man, but it wasn't it. And all these Jakes knew it in their spirit, but they were so condemned and cursed and just polluted and exactly where they at, how they are now then. They were at where they were at in the dream where they're at now, but worse. And, you know, still in that spirit of, you know, slumber, eyes they don't see, rebellious, revolted and gone. You know, it was a bunch of Jakes standing around looking like stink face, you know, like somebody, but they had the spirit of reparation on them, like they jobs. It's like, what are y'all doing here? Like, why so many of y'all here from so many ages? Like, y'all, this is where y'all thought to come. So they just buying, because, you know, people buy when they, you know, sad or miserable or something like that. People guilt, eat, shop, all that. That's just like what was going on type. They was panic buying. They was just in there, but they had the spirit of, yo, this is Jake, and they about to get judged. But ultimately, you know, Walmart, they gotta take care of us. We them people, you know. Y'all, we responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Y'all owe us or something like that. So it's like you could tell that's what Jacob's trouble was really for. Like, because just as much hell is gonna be, it's really to get our people jacked up, but to get our people's affliction by everybody and the whole situation now, you know, and everybody being these other nations. And like I said, in the whole situation now, recompense, you know, get us relief. That's what the Lord showed me, but it was crazy. This Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation. That's literally how it felt. I was like, yo, this is it. But it was like the pregame tip-off. No, it wasn't it yet. Like, it was like This was a couple minutes out. That's how it felt. You know, like 45 minutes out type guy. And it's just being hyped up, and they're like, oh, everybody coming together because the game about to, come on, you know. And it says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. So obviously, it's telling you the majority of the Israel. It's telling you that all Israel ain't gonna be saved. You know what I'm saying? Out of it, but they're the only people that fits the criteria to be saved out of it. You know, which is what's written to happen in that time, and that's gonna happen for the remnant. Which in a dream, the Lord is basically showing like you kind of represent it, and Lord willing that happen. You know, but in that dream, it's like we had immunity to what was going on, even though we were so close to it, subjected to it. You know, could damn near be touched by it. We wasn't touched by it. You know what I'm saying? So this is Psalms 107 and 27. They reel to and fro and stagger like a drunken man and are at their wits' ends. Then they cry unto the Lord in their trouble. Then they cry unto the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shai in their trouble, and he bringeth them out of their distresses. Okay, but that's the difference. That's us. The previous verse is them, the other people, the Ishmaelites. They represented the heathens. Okay, and then Esau in the dream, he was the sword himself. He was afflicting it, but he was also he was able to be used to bring hell upon other people and keep the hell off other people. You know, because it say the powers that be, are there is no power, but of the power of the Most High. You know, powers that be are the Most High. You know, rulers are not terrorists, they're good works. You know, so dude, he ain't no telling. He probably put him to death, but that's the spirit he had on him. That they reel to and fro and stagger like a drunken man and are at their wits' ends. And since our people don't want to be how they need to be, they ultimately slave to be like that. A portion of our people, they find themselves in the same stead, pretty much. Like the other nations. So that's how it was. Everybody was just reeling to and fro. It was all over the place in Walmart, even the nations, even the Ishmaelites. There was like a drunken man, and him having all that stuff around his waist. They was all out of character, because usually his woman probably got the hell slapped out of her if she would have did that, like in a time where they could still like fake act like they could pose and not acknowledge who we are and act like uh, pretty much they know they gotta pay and not act like they know they have to pay and we for what they did to us and the rulers and how they envy us and how the rulership about to come to us. Like they could still before that, which is how these people are kind of now, but it's more so of this now as far as this verse I'm reading, act like that's not the case. But at that point, just like in real life, like when that time come, everybody gonna admit like they knew the whole time. Like he said, Yahweh Bashmi Shai. So these people would say they reel to and fro and stagger like a drunken man and are at their wits' ends. His whole waist was strapped and he was walking. He was just biting his lip. He was looking up like, man, to where I could say something to him because I could see it on him. Like, yeah, y'all admitting it. Y'all admitting it. But he was still able to be proud and try to act out that envy. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't wise in the dream what I was doing anyway. But the Lord said that He said that in 6 troubles He gonna deliver us. At famine now shall laugh, destruction. At famine and destruction now shall laugh. And no harm gonna touch you. You know what I'm saying? And Job, what's that? I think that's the 6th chapter or the 5th chapter. It'll tell you that. Okay. So these people, he in the dream, he was at his wit's end. So this is Isaiah 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children that said to the Lord, that saith the Lord Yahweh, that taketh counsel, but not of me, and that cover with their covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Yeah, that's basically how they was using that Walmart. And that's what was going on in that Walmart. You know, all those jakes. This Walmart. It says that walk to go down into Egypt. Yeah, being America. It says, and have not asked in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. Yeah, Pharaoh being Esau, the so-called white man. So they go out in the town and they go into their Walmarts and try to go to the money centers and cash their checks. Try to get they pops. They look, 12 or 24 case of Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, you know what I'm saying, a light Coca-Cola, you know what I'm saying? When they so-called church outfits, niggas in there, uh, doing scams, all type of shit, man. You know, Jake in there working, trying to, pay some bills just to go fake stunt, you know what I'm saying, or just be regular, you know what I'm saying. But it says, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. It says, therefore, which is America, right, with the place that represent our captivity. It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And that's exactly what it was in that dream, man. You know, so man, they ain't gonna get it, until Jake is not gonna get it until they get hit with a nuke. But Jacob's trouble's on the way, and man, it's just you can feel it in the air, man, more and more and more. You definitely want to start, taking heed, doing the things you need to do, because you want to be kept from that time. It's a spirit, because I was going to do a lesson before I went to sleep, going into how people's worst nightmares are about to come before them, and they don't have any idea about it, man. They don't have any clue that they, will be in situations to where they can't deliver themselves. They will have to watch loved ones they, so-called, they have to, watch their strength fail. You know what I'm saying? Like, and be put to death in ways they hate. You know what I'm saying? In the most terrifying ways. Like they don't have no clue that's coming though. And then the Lord gave me this dream. But anyway, Ecclesiastes 12:1, you want to be hot. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. Yeah. Remember how he get down. Remember how he said he's going to get down on both ends of the spectrum, and position yourself for the good one. Okay. It says, while, and I'm saying this to myself first, man, chiefly. Okay. It says, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh. Yeah, that's how it felt like them years was drawing nigh. That day, it's like, yo, this is it. It's the tip off. It says, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. That job was crazy. I ain't want no parts in where we was at, but I knew what it was, so I was like happy. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good sign. You know, if you was to get in that time and be like that, you just want to make sure, because it says, whoso fear the Lord, shall fear no evil thing. Whoever trusted in the Lord, and was confounded. Okay, where the fear of the Lord is present, it turneth away the wrath of the Lord. Okay, so it's just, it's not, so we got to remember how the Lord operate. Like he said, look into the generations of old, see if there was any that put their trust in the Lord and was confounded. You ain't gonna see it. So you making sure before that day come. That's what we doing now with all our heart and soul, as he said. To the best of your abilities. You know if you shorting them, man. You know if you shorting them. So when that day come, it's a bad feeling that you gonna have, man, because you gonna know that. So it says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Yeah, because once again, you flee one thing, another, more danger just come. It just keep pouring down. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, right? And strong men shall bow themselves. Yeah. Yeah, the keepers of the house shall tremble. You know, people that supposedly put up safe housewives, they out here running their mouth because they out of composure. They not even in their stead no more. People done left their stead. They they composure, they stance. It says, and the strong men shall bow themselves. Yeah, when the Lord is in complete control and it ain't no, you know, you this big bad cop guy, he using you for how he want to use you in that time. Y'all gonna be puppets completely. Y'all are now, but it's gonna be complete. Like, it's gonna be clear. Like, when we in Jacob's trouble, everything gonna be slow motion for those that know what's going on. You gonna literally see, yo, the Lord just used them completely, more so than ever. And you gonna see strong men bowing themselves to you. You know what I'm saying? Being used to protect you and take out others. It says, and the grinders cease because they are few. Yeah, it wasn't even, it was less, it was way more people in the Walmart than people working there. It wasn't even possible. It wasn't even a comparison. It says, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. So that's how I know it wasn't Jacob's trouble completely. It was the tip off. It was packed in the streets still. When the sound of grinding is low, people were still working. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Niggas were still rapping. So the Lord gave a literal pregame tip off to Jacob's trouble. And it was a whole nother spirit, man. Okay. So these nations gonna feel it. We gonna get more happy. Us that's this is understand that this the day of the Lord, that this the day the Lord has made. We gonna rejoice in it. But you just wanna, hey, that's coming, man. So it's good news. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be straight. So call Allah Yahweh Bashmi Shai Wahara Kakwada Shalom.